Platonic justice, meaning and critical examination. Plato's concept of justice occupies a central place in his political philosophy and is elaborately discussed in his celebrated work, The Republic. Plato does not view justice merely as a legal rule or institutional arrangement, rather, considers it a moral and ethical principle that ensures harmony and order both in the individual and in the state. His inquiry into justice aims to discover the conditions under which human beings and political communities can live a good and harmonious life. Platonic concept of justice. Plato explains justice by drawing an analogy between the human soul and the state. According to him, the human soul consists of three parts: reason, spirit and appetite. Justice in the individual exists when each part performs its proper function without interfering in the functions of the others. Reason should govern, spirit should assist reason, and appetite should obey. Justice, therefore, is a state of inner harmony and moral balance within the individual. Plato extends this idea to the political realm. The state, like the soul, is divided into three classes: rulers, philosopher-kings, auxiliaries, soldiers, and producers, farmers, artisans, traders. Justice in the state exists when each class performs the function suited to its natural capacity. The rulers govern with wisdom, the auxiliaries protect the state with courage, and the producers meet the material needs of society. According to Plato, justice means each person doing his own work and not meddling in the work of others. This principle of functional specialization forms the essence of Platonic justice. Plato regards justice as the highest social virtue because it creates unity and stability in the state. When justice prevails, the state functions as an organic whole, and conflict and disorder are minimized. His idea of justice is closely connected to other elements of his ideal state, such as the rule of philosopher-kings, moral education, and communism of property and family for the ruling classes. Critical examination. Despite its philosophical depth, Plato's theory of justice has been subjected to serious criticism. One of the main criticisms is that it neglects individual freedom. Plato's emphasis on functional specialization assigns individuals fixed roles based on their perceived natural abilities, leaving little room for personal choice, creativity, or social mobility. This rigid structure is incompatible with modern democratic ideals that emphasize individual liberty and equality of opportunity. Secondly, Plato's concept of justice is often criticized as elitist and anti-democratic. Political power is concentrated in the hands of philosopher-kings, while the masses are excluded from participation in governance. Plato's distrust of democracy leads him to justify rule by a small intellectual elite, which undermines the principles of popular sovereignty and political equality. Another major criticism is that Plato's theory is highly idealistic and impractical. His concept of justice assumes rulers who are perfectly wise, selfless, and morally virtuous. In real political life, such ideal rulers are rare, if not impossible. Thinkers like Karl Popper have criticized Plato's ideal state as authoritarian, arguing that it subordinates individual rights to the demands of social order. Furthermore, Plato's concept of justice does not adequately address economic justice. While he prescribes communism of property for the ruling classes, he allows private property for the producing class. This arrangement may generate economic inequalities and social tensions, which contradict his goal of achieving harmony in the state. Conclusion. In conclusion, Platonic justice is a profound and systematic attempt to define justice as harmony and order in both the individual and the state. By emphasizing functional specialization and moral discipline, Plato presents justice as the foundation of a stable and virtuous political community. However, his theory is criticized for being rigid, elitist, anti-democratic, and impractical. Despite these limitations, Plato's concept of justice remains a cornerstone of Western political thought and continues to inspire philosophical debates on the nature of justice and the organization of political life.